being busy running the business gave me little time. I wanted somebody that could have the strategy, help guide me in the right direction based off of what our goals are, but then also be able to implement those things as well. I was looking for an option that would be, one, cost effective, but two, also bring in experts, people who knew a lot more than I did, and people who could really start to move the needle and get things going for us. When I look at the data, we have doubled the amount of leads that are coming in month by month. We're therefore doubling the amount of deals that we're closing in a month from the time that we started working with Laura and her team. We are also seeing much more visibility, much more brand and name recognition behind our company. So when we go to conferences and speak with people, when I'm introduced to other partners in the industry, they already know who we are, they already know what we're about. And to receive compliments from other people in the industry, big, high profile figures, for them to come and say, I love what you guys are doing. I love the angle you're taking. I think it's really valuable. Those things are, you can't put a dollar figure. Another huge part of this is our website was completely revamped, and really that was something that was a big undertaking, and it was something that I think I was dreading, because I knew it was going to take a lot of my time and input. But in reality, it took very little of my time, because the team already had the vision. They already understood what direction we wanted to go. We did have somebody in-house who was in charge of marketing, but I will say that they were much more junior. And in that situation, right, they're only able to do certain things. They were handling social media, they were handling some of our email newsletters, but they weren't by any means strategic. They weren't at a level where, they could take on large initiatives and forward think. For a couple of years, we used an agency that was responsible for social media and some email marketing, and what I would consider perhaps some light strategy. And what I found is that there ended up being a lot of pressure and a lot of sort of things that were left on my plate or the plate of my team. I think the biggest concern is that you spend money, you invest your time and energy and resources, and it doesn't work out. I think that was probably the worst case scenario in my mind. We bring this person on board, we're investing dollars into this vertical of the business, and maybe we don't see results. It's a real constraint when you're trying to run a business and you don't have the marketing arm. It wasn't until I found Laura and her team that we could actually, connected those two things, where I can be involved for strategy, and we have great ideas and we come up with initiatives, and then I can walk away from the meeting and know that those things are going to get done, and I don't have to bog down my team in doing those. And I think oftentimes, business owners don't realize the value there, because your time is the most valuable. And so if you're, busy trying to now delegate these tasks and implement them, it's doing you a disservice. So really having somebody that is not only giving you the strategy, but doing implementation, from my experience, is not common. I don't really know anybody else that does that. And that is a huge part of why this partnership has been so valuable.